Could we just go and look at the Prime Minister as he leaves to enter his official car to go to see Her Majesty the Queen and to tender his resignation?
The Prime Minister and his private secretary, Ken Stowe, going in their official car to Buckingham Palace to tender his resignation to the Queen. After that, he will be going to the Labour Party headquarters at Transport House. This is the last time that he will leave Downing Street as Prime Minister, and the first time he's been seen since 7 o'clock this morning when he arrived in a rush. There were only 2 people on the pavement here when he arrived at 7 o'clock this morning. Now there's a crowd probably of about 1,000 or so, and it's growing all the time, as Mrs. Thatcher will be expected to come here within the next hour after she's kissed hands on appointment as the first woman Prime Minister in Britain.
And at Buckingham Palace, Her Majesty the Queen is waiting for the Prime Minister to come and tender his resignation. They will have a brief conversation. Her Majesty will thank the Prime Minister for his services, and then after what may not be a very prolonged discussion with her advisors, she will have her private secretary telephone to the Conservative Central Office or wherever Mrs. Thatcher is and ask her if she has a moment to spare to come along to Buckingham Palace because the Queen would like to see her. I think that's how these things are done. And now
racing to...
I think some viewers enjoyed the racing scenes more than these.
There's a car now going in. Now, we were told originally that the Prime Minister had gone in. That may be the Prime Minister going in, that may be Mrs. Thatcher going in, but I don't think it would be. Everybody seems to have black cars today. There's a black Mercedes coming out and a black Rover just gone in, and I'm certain, I will bet my bottom dollar it wasn't Mrs. Thatcher, because she only has 311 seats, and I'm almost certain it wasn't. I think the car that went in perhaps might have been the Prime Minister's. But what fruitless speculation this all is. If we don't know, why don't we just shut up?
Oh, now, I just wanted to ask you, how do you think your talents, which are, of course, immeasurable, and you can take that either way you like, the headline there, everything. Margaret Thatcher is now the Prime Minister of Great Britain with an overall majority. Norman?
Well, I'm delighted to hear this. This is a wonderful day. First of all, for Britain, that's the most important thing. It's a wonderful day for her. We must rejoice and be happy when the sun shines. We mustn't be angry at the sun.
Lady Falkender, may I call you Marcia?
Please do, Robin.
Where will it all end?
What are your... Be quiet, Norman. I'm talking to Lady Falkender, who takes precedence over you. She's a baroness of the United Kingdom.
Yes, thank you very much.
Marcia, are you... What's your reaction to the news that we have the first woman Prime Minister? Politics apart.
Well, politics apart, of course, it's a very dramatic and exciting day. I think, to be fair to her, she's fought a very good battle. Whether she's a man or a woman is irrelevant in that sense. She has been very courageous. She's put up a very good show, a very good fight, and you couldn't foot-fault her on that, whatever your politics are. There's no doubt about it.
There was a report in just a few... Yes, there is a car, and I don't know whether it's... It's the Prime Minister coming back from Buckingham Palace, and he's going to Transport House to say thank you to his dejected workers and to wish them well, and then go to the country. We may see him at Transport House in just a moment as he goes round the Victoria Memorial. And may I now come back to Mrs. Thatcher and...
Well, heavy political interviewing this afternoon, and all the details of the plumbing at number 10 as well, that Mrs. Thatcher will face. But what we do know now is, and what we have seen while Robin was talking, is that Mrs. Thatcher has 319 seats now in the new House of Commons, that Mr. Callaghan is no longer Prime Minister, as he drove out of Buckingham Palace. He had given up the premiership, and that Mrs. Thatcher will soon be on her way there to kiss hands with the Queen on her appointment. That the Liberals, incidentally, have reached 4 million, and that if Lady Falkender votes with the Ecology Party, they will have 37,154 as opposed to 37,153 votes. And that's how things stand. In a moment, I think we're going to see Shirley Williams on that riverbank once again. They're waiting for her down there. Now, in the meantime, Bob, are you or are you not going to tell us about women in politics?
Yes, I am. But
he's not. You're definitely not, they tell me upstairs. Even though you wish to, you're definitely not.
Well, no, but we will do it in a few seconds.
Yes,
but I think it's important, as this very graceful transfer of power takes place, to pause for a moment and realize there are about 20 or 25 countries in the world where this happens like this. And there are 150 countries in the world, and most of them are dictatorships, autocracies, military governors, all the rest. And I think we ought to pause and respect the fact that this is a great and exciting moment when, without any murmur, supreme power is laid down by one lot of chaps, picked up by another. And it's a rare thing.
But I mean, it's what happens in any other parliamentary democracy.
There only are 20 or 25. You didn't know that.
I see what you mean.
Yes, and I'm just saying there are a few, but the great part of the world, people don't transfer power without being overthrown, destroyed one way or the other. And it's something that's taken a long time to evolve in history, and we have one lucky opportunity to witness it happening again now.
A jubilant and light-hearted occasion before Mrs. Thatcher begins her task of forming a new government and leading the country to what she calls a new beginning. Well, one man to whom Mrs. Thatcher's triumph has been of particular satisfaction is surely Sir Keith Joseph, her chief policy advisor. But Sir Keith had no doubt where the credit for Tory success lay when he spoke earlier today to Robin Day in the studio.
Constitutionally confirmed. So she leaves to these enormous chairs inside Central Office, and in the new dignity of her leadership of the country, gets into her official car. With her was her husband, Dennis Thatcher, driver of the car, George Newell, has been her driver as leader of the opposition, will be her driver as Prime Minister, and was also Edward Heath's driver. No doubt if he's watching, he'll remember too the time not so long ago, it must seem to him, when he set out in similar personal triumph as leader of the Conservative Party, Prime Minister of the country, as Mrs. Thatcher herself, his successor, is now doing.
Mrs. Thatcher, a moment or two ago, in the black rover there, with the flashing indicator light, waved at by the crowds, going into Buckingham Palace to kiss hands with the Queen on her appointment as the first woman Prime Minister of Great Britain. She's at the palace now, and we hope we'll be able to catch her as she comes out after her appointment. On her appointment as Prime Minister,
but she's not coming.
Kissing hands with the Queen, but we think perhaps she's not coming for the moment. She's been in there for some time. Ah, wait a moment. I think there she is. So Mrs. Thatcher is now the first woman Prime Minister of Great Britain and leaves Buckingham Palace. Few people apparently in the crowd noticing that she's there. She's not there. That car was empty. Well, that just serves one right for launching into purple commentary on an empty motor car. In a moment, Mrs. Thatcher will be there, and we have news, just before we go, of the Tories taking Brecon and Radnorshire. I shall prevent David Butler commenting on that, since he's...
Good afternoon, Prime Minister. Good afternoon, Prime Minister. Hello. Have a word. Mrs. Thatcher. Mrs. Thatcher. Mrs. Thatcher. Mrs. Thatcher. If you just ask... To the BBC, Mrs. Thatcher. It's been a wonderful campaign for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel at this moment?
Very excited, very aware of the responsibilities. Her Majesty, the Queen, has asked me to form a new administration, and I have accepted. It is, of course, the greatest honor that can come to any citizen in a democracy. I know full well the responsibilities that await me as I enter the door of number 10, and I'll strive unceasingly to try to fulfill the trust and confidence that the British people have placed in me and the things in which I believe. And I would just like to remember some words of St. Francis of Assisi, which I think are really just particularly apt at the moment. Where there is discord, may we bring harmony. Where there is error, may we bring truth. Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. And where there is despair, may we bring hope. And to all the British people, howsoever they've voted, may I say this, now that the election is over, may we get together and strive to serve and strengthen the country of which we're so proud to be a part.
Prime Minister.
And finally, one last thing. In the words of Erin Eve, whom we had hoped to bring here with us, there is now work to be done.